Welcome to my shop here in Mount Uniacke. My name is Gregg Boudreau, 72 years old, retired. I have an interest in hot rods, old cars, basically anything that's metal. It goes back to when bought my first car when I was 15. Led into a long career of automobiles. Went to trade school in 1966. NSIT in Halifax was a really good experience. Had two excellent old teachers. They were old school, pick and file, lead work, hammer work with dollies and hammers that I don't know I would have learned anywhere else from anybody any better, and carried it through most of my life. I still use some of the same techniques. I worked with a lot of fellows after that I went to school with that end up running some of the shops I worked for, which was Bob McDonald's Chevrolet, Ford Chev and Olds, Fairley and Stevens, Dartmouth Dodge. Back then we were working on what are now the old classics. That would have been 1967, 68, 69s, the GTOs, the Firebirds, the Sunbirds, whatever was out there in a hot rod today. It was just a common car being driven back in the day. It was just, we saw them every day, the Novas and so on. But anyway, I continued on, had a few of my own shops, and I still have the interest in the hobby. It's something that just doesn't go away. You're an avid collector of everything related to cars and tools. You can't have too many tools, and it's so much easier. What I'm trying to do is put the interest out there to some of the younger generation that's maybe has an old Honda or something, or Toyota that they'd like to work on. They feel they don't have the experience level or whatever. Just start, read a book, get online, do some research, try to save a little bit of money, buy a few rudimentary tools. They don't have to be from Snap-on. And watch. There's a lot of good videos out there on metal work and mechanical work and so on. And if you're hooked in that, if you're hooked in the industry in terms of the hot rods and so on, you'll have it your whole life, and it's a good hobby. It's expensive, but it's a good hobby. But what I'm trying to do is save you a bit of money. You can do a lot of this stuff yourself. You don't have to go to that shop down the road that's $60, $70, $80 to have that patch put in your floor, or quarter panel, repaired on your car, or whatever. Put a windshield in. It's all doable. You can do it. So for the young people that are out there today, it's a lot different getting involved in the trade in terms of buying the tools and equipment. They weren't available when I was first started in this. You worked for a dealer. They supplied all the big stuff, the frame machines and all that. Well, today that stuff's all accessible. You can buy hoists, something that you could, compressors. You can pick them up anywhere. Back in the day, you couldn't buy them anywhere. Now with their Canadian Tire, you can go pick up most of the tools you need to start to do, the little dollies and hammers. They're not the best, but it's a start. And you can, by buying these tools, you can get the confidence level to get in and do that little repair on that fender. You want to attempt to flare quarter pounds on your little old car or something. You want to put fatter tires in the back. It's all doable. You just have to research it a bit and take the steps and get it done. And it's nice to have a few friends in the trade that to help you out, which I like to be. I can help you through some of the stuff. You can send me a text or whatever. You're into a certain project or something. You don't have to be in my backyard. I can text you off and give you some advice on what to do. And as far as the tools go, Prince's Auto today, you can buy just about anything you need to rebuild a car. Shrinkers, stretchers, hammers, dollies, spray equipment. It's an endless amount of tools they have, and they're not super expensive. They're expensive, but as time goes on, you treat yourself. You buy a paint gun, and then you buy another gun for your primer, and then you buy, you save your money up, and somebody says, well, what am I going to get you for Christmas? Buy me a little brake, which is for bending metal, or buy me a shrinker stretcher. You can buy one with a double set of heads, or instead of changing heads over, I just bought two. One's for one bend, and one's for the other bend. I don't have to switch back and forth. But it took me a while to get to that point. To build a shop today, it's not a cheap endeavor, but if Dad's got a little garage in the backyard you can use, then hopefully you can squeeze him out and move your stuff in. But it's a good hobby. I've got a couple projects on the go right. I've always got projects on the go. I'm building a 28 Chev here to my right that I bought from my brother a few years ago. One he put off their side. He sold his stuff off, and I'm rebuilding this. It was in a box when I got it. Basically, it was all in pieces. There wasn't a nut or a bolt fastened into it. It was all full of wood. All the interior door panels and all that's all done in wood. And I took the time to take all the wood out, and as I was taking the wood out, I couldn't bring myself to throw it all away. The way it was designed and built back in the day, whoever did it, this is a car that's almost 100 years old. But it rattled. It was actually nailed together. The metal was nailed to the wood structure in the door frames. Once I cut the door apart, there was nothing left but a door skin. So reframed it all, and I planned on putting power windows in it, so I had to allow the depth of the door was a little more than what the original door was. So it takes a bit of time to plan that out, and there was some trial and error to get it that way. And I put it together and fit the window. And if you find that, okay, geez, I made a mistake, then you know what? You go back, you got the tools, you cut it apart and do it again. Make it right. Don't do something and say, oh, that's good enough. If you're not happy with it, chances are down the road you're not going to be any happier. So fix it now. You got it in the shop, you got it tore apart, get it done. Make it happen.